Well, time for another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse Halloween Extravaganza. And let's go south of the border for this one. From 1963, American International Pictures had a TV arm where basically they picked up imports from Mexico, Europe, and other places and ran them in late night TV slots. Now this one was called The Curse of the Crying Woman. And this was released in 1963. It was brought in by K. Gordon Murray, who gave us Santa Claus Conquers the Martians and Santa Claus, those other two Mexican films. He had a whole slew of them, The Vampire's Coffin, The Brainiac, bunch of stuff. This one sort of has a shocking opener where this coach is driving through this fog-shrouded area, and there's two foppish men in the coach, a young woman and the coach driver. And standing by the side of the road is this woman holding three, looks like Great Danes, and she has no eyes. And this guy staggers out in the road. He's all scarred up and limping. And the coach stops and he pulls a knife out and throws it and kills the coach driver. Then one of the passengers gets out and he strangles that passenger. The other passenger takes off in a run, and the eyeless woman lets the Great Danes tear him to pieces. The young woman gets out of the carriage and is knocked under the wheels, and then the strange, ugly guy slaps the horse on the rump, and the carriage runs over. And this is all before the credits. So then there's a police inspector at this woman's house, and she says, "I didn't hear anything at all." And he goes, "It's weird that you live here alone without any servants." Well, she does live alone. She has the corpse of her mother in the basement, as her mother was a witch, and her mother was tried, and a lance was put through her heart. But the whole thing is, you hear this woman crying at night in the castle, and the mother has invited her niece to visit her. Unbeknownst to her, the niece has a fiance because she needs the niece to bring back the mother to life. So there's a whole bunch of weird shit going on in there, and the cops are pretty much convinced something is wrong. And the possession is insidious. It takes a while. Her fiance is beaten up by Fred the handyman and then chained up. And then the woman decides she can escape from the place and decides to get a ride with a wagon driver. But all of a sudden she morphs into something and starts scratching his face and attacking him. He gets away, and she's standing there with blood on her hands, realizing that she's being slowly taken over. So she goes back to the castle. The other guy runs to the cops, and of course they show up, but then the dogs are let on them, and they are killed. Weird part is the fuckers have guns and don't use them. So now we're in the dungeon, and the niece is being slowly coerced to pull the lance out of the mother's body, which she does. And the husband is badgering her and badgering her and badgering her not to do it. And she gets it halfway out, then rams it all the way in. Well, that frees up her husband, who gets in a pitched battle with Fred and is getting the shit beat out of him. The other woman, her eyes disappear, and she's standing there wondering what the hell went wrong, and there's all kind of rumbling. The building's falling down. Eventually, a big piece of concrete kills Fred. The niece and the fiancé get outside and stand there and watch as the whole building crumbles into ruin. Now, if you didn't know this was shot in Mexico, it sort of harkens back to films like Castle of Blood and some gothic stuff shot in Italy. The film is really, really good, even though the print that I had seen late at night, because I had come in after drinking, was a pretty beat-up TV print, and I had to revisit it from one of those wonderful DVDs from Beverly Wilshire Filmworks, and John Matarazzo production, which showed the same beat-up print. So it's definitely worth a look. It's creepy, it's atmospheric, and like I said, it's sort of almost, looks like an Italian type film, only, shot south of the border. And, it's pretty well done, atmospheric, like I said, and definitely has that gothic flair to it. So it's definitely worth a look. So check out Curse of the Crying Woman. It might be on Tubi or whatever. I think somebody just released it on a Blu-ray. So that's our film for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with some more horror-filled stories. So until then, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.